Good evening, I'm Adrienne Arsenault.
And I'm Andrew Chang. Tonight, another disruption to the flow of vaccines.
We are failing.
What Ottawa knows and what it doesn't.
At this time, I can't really tell you what the quantity will be.
Also tonight, CBC News has learned multiple governments heard about concerns of inappropriate behavior surrounding Canada's top soldier.
An innocent man was put into jail for no reason.
A black PhD student in Montreal was arrested, held for 6 days, and suddenly cleared. What went wrong?
And Marketplace puts air purifiers to the test. Why pricier isn't always better. This is The National. Since those first days of excitement and relief when COVID vaccines started landing in this country, two questions have dominated the discussion.
Yeah, when will more shots arrive and where will they come from? Well, today the answers were both frustrating and controversial to some. There's now more uncertainty over vaccine delivery, this time for Moderna doses. But on the flip side, there's new pushback that Canada plans to draw supply from a global vaccine pool intended primarily for developing countries. David Cochran walks us through it all.
As Canada rides the vaccine roller coaster, another day of ups and downs.
They're forecasting shipments of at least 335,000 doses the week of February 15th.
Pfizer deliveries back to normal and getting bigger by the middle of the month. Moderna deliveries almost certainly down as it struggles to meet demand.
I can't really tell you what the quantity will be, but we do not expect to receive 249,000.
And so the government under fire for not having enough.
We are failing right now. So, Mr. Trudeau, show us the plan for these doses you've promised.
While also being criticized for taking too much.
Canada is the only country in the G7 that is going to access COVAX.
COVAX is a global effort to encourage wealthy countries to buy vaccines for poorer ones. The incentive is the wealthy country gets one vaccine dose for every dose it donates.
COVAX has always been part of Canada's procurement strategy.
Canada is one of COVAX's biggest contributors at more than $400 million. It's opted to take 2 million AstraZeneca doses by June, while other wealthy countries have deferred.
This is the wrong decision. This is the wrong time to make this decision. People in Canada do not want this kind of decision made in their name.
Our government will never apologize for doing everything in our power to get Canadians vaccinated as quickly as possible.
Okay, David, so the government sounds like it's dug in on this. Is there a chance Canada doesn't take these COVAX doses?
You know, the government's made it pretty clear it's taking these doses. The Prime Minister said this was the plan last September when Canada joined COVAX. And, you know, while there's criticism to leave those doses for low-income countries, there's urgency as well because Canada's vaccine supply has been completely inconsistent. So with the shipments down recently, Andrew, Canada has slipped from 10th in global vaccination rates to 33rd. But, you know, you speak to the officials working on vaccines here in Ottawa, and their belief is that these few weeks we're in, they're going to be the low points. With Pfizer coming back to full, with AstraZeneca likely to get approved soon, deliveries should jump sharply from mid-February on, and the officials you speak with say that things should, and I stress should, get a lot better from here.
Okay, David Cochran, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Rosie and the At Issue panel will pick up this conversation and take a closer look at the political consequences drawing on the COVAX supply has created for the government at home and on the world stage. That's coming up a little later in the program.
Now, despite vaccine delays, Ottawa says it still hopes to vaccinate most Indigenous Canadian adults by early summer. But as Olivia Stefanovich reports, supply isn't the only hurdle to overcome.
The vaccination team, say hello.
Hello. A sign of hope in a remote First Nation, where the threat of COVID-19 is dire.
A little bit over 15 minutes since since I had a needle. There's no discomfort, no pain.
Niskandiga faces overcrowding and has no access to clean running water. Reasons why the community and others like it are prioritized for immunizations.
The vaccine is 95% effective.
Indigenous leaders are encouraging their people to get inoculated. sharing information to dispel fears, and it seems to be working. 6% of First Nations and Inuit communities have received their first shots.
An incredible sense of excitement and hope.
But that enthusiasm tempered by Moderna delays, the vaccine that's being used in remote places more often.
We have received 0 vaccinations for our citizens of the Piikani Nation.
Some Indigenous communities say they're being left behind.
Is it going to come? Is it not coming because something's wrong?
The federal government says for now it is on track, but it's too early to tell whether disruptions will impact its goal to inoculate all Indigenous adults before the summer.
We want those vaccines in as quickly as possible.
Let's protect our people.
For Niskandigas Chief Chris Muniaz, the message is simple.
Get vaccinated. Let's beat the virus.
A critical push to protect a vulnerable population. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
Some more encouraging news on the vaccination front. When it comes to those in the first priority group for the shot, outside of Ontario, nearly half of Canadian healthcare workers have received at least 1 dose of vaccine, as have nearly 42% of seniors living in group settings. Those numbers aren't yet available for Ontario.
Now, the effort to get people vaccinated is a race against the spread of the virus, especially the more transmissible and possibly more deadly variants. Well, today, Ontario put out some new data about just how many variant cases there may be out there.
5.5% of all of these 1,880 samples were screened positive.
So what they did was analyze positive samples from a single day, nearly 2,000 of them from January 20th. They found about 100 of those tests were indeed a variant of the coronavirus, most of them from the Roberta Place long-term care outbreak. The province is warning, though, that number could still go up dramatically, and going forward, plans to screen every positive COVID test result for possible mutations.
With our numbers changing, with our volume, our percent positive changing, at the same time, the mutations, the variants coming up, we're in a very, as Dr. Brown said last week, a precarious situation.
The province is also considering keeping schools open during March break this year. Officials say they want to avoid a similar spike in cases as they saw following the winter break. In a statement, Education Minister Stephen Lecce says he's waiting to hear from provincial health officials before making a final decision.
In BC, a big change for some students. A new mask mandate was announced today, but as Briar Stewart explains, some parents and teachers say classrooms still are not safe enough.
For the On family, a little fresh air is a reprieve after weeks isolating in their apartment.
So we would label the sinks.
Both parents contracted COVID from their 6-year-old, who public health said likely caught it from someone in his class.
Mask wearing and social distancing, they go together, and it's not happening in schools.
After months of many teachers and parents pleading for a broad indoor mask mandate, today the BC government finally introduced one.
Really, what we know is setting the tone in the classroom and working with each individual student is what makes this an appropriate and a safe place.
Masks will now be mandatory for students 12 and older, but there are exceptions, and they're still only recommended for younger students. Health officials say young children don't get as sick if they catch COVID, nor spread it as much, and it can be hard for them to keep the masks on.
I know for a 5-year-old it might be tricky, but wearing them more often than not is still better than not wearing them all the time.
Some wanted the government to go further. Students in middle school and in high school in BC will have to wear masks when they're inside working with other students, but they won't have to wear them when they're at their desks. And that's something that other provinces like Quebec and Ontario have made mandatory. And in Ontario, elementary students also have to wear masks inside the classroom.
If them, why not us?
This Surrey High School already made masks mandatory, and this teacher wants the province to do more.
Density is not being addressed yet. Even ventilation issues still exist in some schools. So the announcement was good, but it still leaves a lot of holes that need to be filled in.
Because she says her school has already had around 30 COVID exposures, and each time a notice goes out, the anxiety rises for everyone. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Surrey.
Well, cruise ships were among the first symbols of the pandemic. Remember all those people quarantining in tiny cabins a year ago? Well, today, a new blow to Canadian cities that rely on that very industry. The federal government has extended the ban on cruise ships carrying more than 100 people by another year. Here's Kayla Hounsell.
Joanna Gallipo runs a dress shop in downtown Halifax. She estimates about 30% of her summer traffic comes from cruise ship passengers. Today's announcement means a second summer without those much-needed tourists.
I mean, it hurts the soul a little bit. I think I was being a little bit optimistic, hoping that by the summertime it would make up for how kind of awful this year's been.
Each year, Halifax alone welcomes around 350,000 passengers. The annual economic spin-off is normally $166 million. Today, the Port Authority says it is not surprised the cruise ship ban has been extended until February 2022.
We knew that the situation with COVID right now is such that it's just not safe to move forward at this time. We were hopeful that we might see some cruise activity in the later part of the season.
Canada's Minister of Transport says banning cruise ships is essential to protect the most vulnerable, avoid overwhelming healthcare systems, and allow public health authorities to focus on the most pressing issues, vaccine rollout and the new COVID-19 variants.
I was surprised that it's been extended out as far as it has, but it's a significant blow for us as an organization, and also I think about the operators. That said, the health and safety of Victoria residents is paramount.
The Minister of Transport can rescind the ban if the pandemic situation improves. Joanna Gallipo fears what might happen if it doesn't.
There's some businesses that really bank on kind of that June to September, October tourist season to make it through the winter, and now they don't have another one. It's going to be rough. I think you're going to see a lot more closures this year.
More stormy seas ahead for those in the cruise industry and those who rely on it, already navigating turbulent waters. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Halifax.
In Manitoba, an external review has determined provincial health officials didn't respond quickly enough to a deadly outbreak at a Winnipeg long-term care home.
You know, you had staff members crying out for help prior to the major incident that happened in November.
56 people died during the 3-month outbreak at the Maples care home. The facility was so short-staffed, ambulances were called as residents lay dying amid the outbreak. The province says it will act on 17 recommendations made by that review.
Canada's former top military commander is now under investigation for alleged inappropriate behavior with female subordinates. Global News first broke this story, but CBC News has learned senior members of both the Conservative and Liberal governments were made aware of the concerns. Here's Marie Brewster with what else we've dug up.
Summer 2015. A new general, a new mission for a military, at the time, inundated with allegations of sexual misconduct.
Everybody must continue to work together to eliminate this harmful behavior. It must stop now.
Almost 6 years later, Vance, 2 weeks into his retirement, now faces allegations of inappropriate behavior involving 2 female subordinates. Allegations first reported by Global News. CBC News has learned the former Conservative government heard concerns that Vance had been involved in an inappropriate relationship with a former U.S. military officer who he later married. Sources say the matter was investigated and cleared by the Canadian military. Fast forward to 2018. Operation Honor, Vance's signature initiative to stamp out sexual misconduct in the military, is struggling to take hold.
I want you to know that we know that we need to do better, and we will.
A woman approaches former military ombudsman Gary Walborn, delivering an envelope of emails that alleged sexual harassment by a very senior member of the command team. Sources tell CBC News Walborn took the matter to Defence Minister Harjit Sajjan. The two had a disagreement that led to Walborn's early departure from the post. A senior government official speaking on Background Tonight acknowledged a specter of concern was raised to the minister, but Sajjan insisted it be investigated by the proper authorities, meaning the Privy Council office.
Oral questions.
In the Commons, the recriminations have already started.
When did the Defence Minister first brief the Prime Minister? When he first learned of these allegations, or just this week when the story broke?
We have no tolerance for any form of sexual misconduct. This is something I take very seriously.
Canada's military police have opened an investigation into the allegations raised in the Global News story. CBC News reached out to General Vance. He declined to speak to us. Murray Brewster, CBC News, Ottawa.
Well, now to a deadly crime that's put Vancouver on edge. A 78-year-old woman died just days ago after a violent assault by two men allegedly posing as police officers. But it's the fact that one of the suspects was later found living in a homeless encampment that has brought to the fore a whole other complex set of issues. Here's Tanya Fletcher.
A small bouquet of flowers laid on the doorstep is the only clue that this was the scene of a disturbing crime. So disturbing, even total strangers are moved to tears by what happened.
No, I did not know her. I live in the neighborhood. It's just stuff.
It was a 78-year-old woman who lived here. On the weekend, it's believed two men posed as police officers to get inside her home. She was assaulted, left for hours, and later died in the hospital.
When you open your door to police officers, you don't want to have to question the fact that are they real or not. And, you know, that I think was it also put a lot of fear, you know, in the neighbors.
I appreciate there are a lot of questions. This is a very high-profile incident.
The arrests high-profile as well.
Where's the search warrant?
This camera was rolling just outside the city's largest homeless encampment, where police executed a search warrant at a tent where it's believed one of the suspects lived.
They were met by a very volatile and hostile crowd.
Vancouver's tent cities are no stranger to confrontation, and neither is one of the suspects.
They have to leave their park, their home, what they're used to already.
He was interviewed by CBC News a year and a half ago while living at a different homeless camp. The tent cities have long been a flashpoint between those who live there and neighbors around them. It's a problem that has long plagued the city, and the mayor says the pandemic has made it worse.
You talk to any mayor across Canada, we're seeing way more people living on the street, whether it's drugs or mental health, or economic difficulties, people losing their jobs. So it's kind of moving in a violent way, and is very concerning.
It's especially little solace to those not wanting to forget what happened here.
I don't want to be part of humanity that doesn't acknowledge what happened.
Tanya Fletcher, CBC News, Vancouver.
In Montreal, there are questions about why a traffic stop led to a black man being arrested and charged with attempted murder, only to be abruptly released 6 days later. Sarah Levitt walks us through how it all unfolded and the growing demand for answers.
A man was wrongly arrested, accused, detained. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Outrage from Montreal's mayor echoes anger from many today. Stopped by police for using his cell phone while driving last Thursday, Mamadi Camara just happened to be there as the officer who pulled him over was assaulted and stripped of his weapon. When Camara tried to help by calling 911, he soon found himself arrested, charged with attempted murder and more. After being held in custody for 6 days yesterday, a shocking reversal. All charges against him stayed.
It's a very exceptional situation. We don't see that often, and we hope not to see that because what happened yesterday just proved that there was a mistake done.
Montreal police aren't calling it a mistake, but are saying more evidence came to light, including additional analysis of traffic camera footage, which showed another person at the crime scene, and witnesses came forward. Now there are calls for an independent inquiry. Quebec's public security minister tweeted, "The circumstances that led to the indictment of Mr. Mamadi Fara Camara must be examined." Police, though, say the investigation is still underway, and for now, Camara is considered an important witness.
We're ready to apologize to Mr. Camara once we have all the facts. As I stated before, we're still waiting for some results to come in.
The police chief says race did not play a role in Camara's arrest.
You know, the relationship between the SPVM and the black community is very fragile. So I think some type of apology or acknowledgement of the concern of the black community would have been appropriate.
Camara is not talking. He didn't spend last night at home. Sources tell Radio-Canada his home was damaged by police searching for the officer's missing gun. Camara's lawyer says he's considering his next steps. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
Well, a dramatic and divided vote in Washington to punish a controversial Republican congresswoman.
Conspiracy theories and outrageous lies have no place in the Congress.
Next on the National, a moment of reckoning for a divided GOP.
Tom Brady prepares to break a different sort of Super Bowl record.
Not many people have played at my age.
And what you need to know about the air in your home.
If we could see what was in this air at a microscopic level, we would see all kinds of things.
Marketplace puts air purifiers to the test. We're back in 2. Welcome back. U.S. President Joe Biden took aim at Russia today as part of an effort to reverse the foreign policy posture of his predecessor.
The days of the United States rolling over in the face of Russia's aggressive actions, interfering with our elections, cyber attacks, poisoning its citizens are over.
Biden's comments came during his first visit to the State Department. He also criticizes Vladimir Putin for the jailing of opposition activist Alexei Navalny and stressed he should be released immediately.
What was billed as a struggle for the soul of the Republican Party played out on Capitol Hill today. The House voted to remove Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene from her committee roles, a rebuke of her racist comments and stated support for QAnon conspiracy theories. But as Susan Ormiston reports, only 11 Republicans voted against her.
Fake news media, the DC swamp, the political establishment tried to take me out.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, a first-time congresswoman from Georgia, a walking billboard for her current political views, now denouncing some noxious views of her past.
These were words of the past, and these things do not represent me.
In the past, she said, prominent Jewish families launched a space laser to start California fires, that the Parkland school shooting was staged, and that a plane didn't hit the Pentagon during 9/11. Today, revision.
You see, school shootings are absolutely real. I also want to tell you 9/11 absolutely happened. I do not believe that it's fake.
The Capitol Hill riots ripped open a fissure amongst Republicans how to deal with extremism inside the party post-Trump. In the House tonight, impassioned debate about stripping Greene off committees.
Conspiracy theories and outrageous lies have no place in the Congress, no place in the people's house.
Republicans calling it censorship by the radical left.
It's only a matter of time till they start coming after everyday Americans.
Squad's worst nightmare.
But in a dramatic moment, the House Majority Leader highlighted a tweet by Greene holding an assault rifle against Democrats.
On this vote,
in the end, she was booted off committees with 11 Republicans voting to penalize her. A harbinger of the partisan impeachment trial coming next week. Democrats wanting Trump to testify. An advisor says he won't. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Washington.
Well, ahead tonight, an investigation for anyone spending more time indoors thanks to the pandemic. What's really in the air of your home? Marketplace puts air purifiers to the test.
But first, Rosie's here with that issue.
Hey, Adrian, tonight we're going to have a lot more on the top story and, of course, the ongoing questions around Canada's vaccine strategy. Was opting to take vaccines from a global fund the right political decision for right now? That's coming up next with Chantal, Andrew, and Althea. Canada's vaccine strategy is under fire yet again, this time for taking doses from COVAX, the global sharing initiative meant to ensure development of a vaccine and to make sure it's distributed equitably around the world.
The very fact that Canada is the only G7 country asking the COVAX consortium for vaccines is demonstration that we have no plan.
How did the Liberal government let things get so bad?
We should not be double dipping into this mechanism
It is just it's very bad for Canadians. It's very bad for our image.
But today, the government defended its decision.
Our government will never apologize for doing everything in our power to get Canadians vaccinated as quickly as possible.
All right, so was this the right political decision for Canada? What are the consequences, if any? It's Thursday. I'm here with At Issue, Chantal Hébert, Andrew Coyne, and Althea Raj. I'll start with you, Althea. What do you make of this decision to, because we contributed to COVAX, we now get to tap into it in order to get some of the vaccine, a minimum of 1.9 million doses before the end of the second quarter?
Well, I think every Canadian government's primary responsibility is to look after its own citizens. So I think that it may go against brand, and a lot of progressives will not be happy with me saying this, but I think it's completely understandable for the Liberals to want to use the option that they have in the COVAX program in order to kind of fix the bumps that have come on the road. But I want to say something else. It is misleading to say that Canada is the only G7 country that is using this envelope, because there's only 2 other countries in the G7 that have signed up, Japan and the UK. And there's 2 parts to the COVAX program. So there are other members of the G7 who have donated, like Italy and France and Germany, like us, like the UK, like Japan, everybody but the US. But there's only 3 members who've decided to purchase their own domestic supply through COVAX. And in fact, France was criticized in the fall for saying that it wasn't going to buy a supply through COVAX because it went against the program's goal of basically worldwide bulk buying. And I wish I could say that a Liberal staffer or somebody whispered this in my ear, but nobody at all. And I think that speaks to another problem in the government, is that they cannot sort out their own communication problems. They're lacking transparency, and I think that has affected trust in what the government is actually saying. It's taking way too long for information to come out.
Well, thank you for that. That's all good context, because the opposition parties were either playing fast and loose with the facts around what COVAX is, or didn't really want to present the facts that you just laid on the table. Chantal, your take.
It's the job of the government to present the facts. And if the opposition parties are crossing lines, well, the facts will help the government. There has been very little presentation of those facts. To the G7 argument, for months we've been told about how great New Zealand was doing. New Zealand is also going to receive vaccines from COVAX. So it is a process, and what is happening to Canada is not that it went begging, it was part of the plan. Now, that being said, on communications, the government is not only off message, having spent weeks saying we bought more vaccines than anyone else in the world, and then suddenly being perceived as slipping in that. But I don't know about you, but I've watched Question Period for the past few days, and I'm kind of wondering what message the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister think that they're sending by not showing up in the House.
Andrew, your thoughts on just the idea that we would use this program that we opted to buy into?
Well, there's a difference between having a right to do something and being right to do so. They can cite all the narrow technicalities they like, but the point of this program was to be a program that would provide vaccines to poor countries, not to rich countries. The fact that we're in the position where they need to do this, I think, is more the issue. It's absolutely true that the responsibility of the Canadian government is first and foremost to its own people, but they would not be in the position of having to dip into this fund, in this program, had they not done a better job of getting vaccines in a timely fashion. The government was perfectly content to take the credit for its savvy negotiating strategy in lining up all those doses 3 times, enough to vaccinate everybody in the country 3 times over. It can't at the same time say, but we shouldn't be held to account for how slowly they've arrived, or our failure to negotiate the terms and conditions that would ensure that they came in a timely fashion, or that if they didn't, there'd be a plan B and a plan C behind that. So, ultimately, the government of Canada is responsible to the citizens of Canada for ensuring a timely delivery of vaccines. They haven't done that, which is why we're in this position.
So I take your point. I wonder what is the negotiation that gets you to a place where a company like Moderna, for instance, which has never made this kind of vaccine before, suddenly is able to provide it when they say they can't. I mean, I honestly, I'm not sure. What is it? The parameters of the contract? Is it what you've paid for it? How do we think that would work? Chantal wants in, and then I'll get everybody else.
So none of us knows that answer seriously, but. I believe that the Prime Minister's political life now rides on two deadlines. The end of March for getting all those vaccines that are not coming in over the next few weeks, and the end of September. And having dug that line in the sand so deep that it's cement, if it does not happen, if we are in this debate for 6 months, I believe the Liberals are going to be facing really bad election campaign.
Well, that's a really good point, because Althea, the Prime Minister keeps saying those lines again and again. He obviously has some confidence in them. Otherwise, as Chantal points out, he's creating a problem for himself if he doesn't.
Yeah, I would agree about the September deadline. I think the March deadline, I'm not so convinced that would be so disastrous for the Liberals. I think the March deadline will probably impact the Liberals' desire to have a spring election. Sure. They've been signaling for several weeks, months, that they would like to go based on the budget. And the situation being what it is now, it's very hard to see how that would happen. And I think that, kind of behind the scenes, things are moving towards a fall writ rather than a spring writ. But I think what would help the government is if they were more transparent, communicative about what they know and what they don't know. It shouldn't take, a committee hearing, for example, on Thursday, today, for us to discover that the Liberals actually tried to get all the vaccine candidates to manufacture the vaccines in Canada. Why? But nobody wanted to do so for a number of reasons. Why couldn't we have been told that in the fall, for example?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, obviously those questions I put to all of you, I didn't expect you to have an answer. It was more a demonstration of I don't know what the answer is, and I don't have that information, nor do any of us. But Andrew, to Chantal's point around the deadlines and the fact that the government seems still confident in them.
I'm not sure those are going to be the deadlines that matter politically so much as how we're doing compared to other countries, which is ultimately the only benchmark we really have on this. Somehow or other, 33 countries now have got more of their citizens vaccinated or administered more doses than we have per capita. That's overall, and something close to 50 countries 35. In the last 7 days. So ultimately, that's all you can go by is everybody's facing the same difficulties. This is an enormous problem for every country. We're having to secure vaccines on the fly in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, vaccines that didn't exist until several weeks ago.
Chantal, last week, and every time we've talked about this, because we are talking about it a lot, but it is on people's minds, you say, I'm going to wait to see. I'm not ready to grade the government. Has anything changed in your perspective because of what we've heard this week?
I think they're the authors of their own misfortune. They're miscommunicating the impression that they're saying one thing, doing another, and this notion that they spread that we bought more vaccines than anybody else and we're going to help other countries with this, and then end up getting vaccines from a pool that was meant to help those other countries that have less means. They have kind of gone from a photo opportunity success early on to what now makes them sitting ducks for the opposition.
And how is the opposition using those opportunities, Althea? In some of those clips that we saw, I would not say that everyone was being, as we said before, wholly truthful with the facts, but how do you think the opposition parties are doing in managing that?
Well, I think today's news was basically a big boost to the NDP and the Greens. It was actually quite surprising that we didn't have a press conference by Jagmeet Singh. But Annamie Paul, the new Green Party leader, has been basically trying to get the media's attention by holding almost daily press conferences. And today, I think, spoke to how many possible Liberal voters, I should say, might feel that even if you have a right to do something, it doesn't mean that you should do it. I think a lot of progressives might agree with her. On the Conservative front, I feel that in some ways they have dialed down some of the personal rhetoric that had been the showcase from last week. And I think that serves them well, actually, when they look like they're more professional and that their critiques are based in facts.
Andrew?
O'Toole is also very careful, I noticed, to insert a line every time saying we want the government to succeed in this, which I think is savvy.
Yeah.
You don't want to look like you're, cackling with glee at this problem. It's a fair comment to say that the opposition hasn't necessarily provided any alternative as to how they would do things better.
Yeah.
That's a fair comment for when we get to an election. At that point, people say, okay, what's your plan? How would you do it better? At this point, their job is to hold the government to account. The government has the privilege of holding office, and it's their job. The onus is on them every day to show why they should hold it, why they should earn and maintain the public's confidence and the confidence of the House of Commons.
Okay, Chantal, last
But the conservative challenge is it's one thing to convince Canadians that the government is not doing a great job. It's another to convince them that the Conservatives would have done a better job.
Yeah. Okay. Good conversation. Thank you, everybody. Before we go, be sure to subscribe to At Issue, the podcast, where we've got extra content, and the panel's take on this story this week.
It is not a political process. It's a legal process. Our national security and law enforcement agencies have been monitoring the activities of these groups for a number of years.
You can find that on any major podcast app and also on our website, cbcnews.ca/thenational.
Okay, Rosie, because you always have a bazillion things going on, what are you working on for this Sunday's Rosemary Barton Live?
Well, we are going to talk about vaccines, but we're not going to talk about sort of the anxiety everyone has around getting vaccinated. We're going to talk about a bit of a success story that's happening in Canada, and that is the rate of vaccinations in many Indigenous communities in this country. And we're going to talk about how that happened and how people encouraged one another to get vaccinated. So we'll tell you more about that on Sunday.
Good news is good news. Thanks, Rosie.
Okay.
And next on The National, a marketplace investigation. We put air purifiers to the test. Why pricier isn't always better.
And a symbolic repayment for a Canadian civil rights icon. The moment a teenager decided to fight for Viola Desmond.
Air purifiers like hand sanitizer, gloves, and masks are having a bit of a COVID moment. So our colleagues at the CBC Marketplace team started asking questions about how well they work. Here's Neil Cooksall putting some of the world's biggest brands to the test.
Bernadette Liu-Kisong spends hours every day in here.
Because I'm working from home, the room where I'm working in is small.
What are you worried about?
How it will affect us in the long term.
It is a scene playing out in homes all across the country.
Okay, so if we could see what was in this air at a microscopic level, we would see all kinds of things. It's a chemical soup.
Dog dander, human skin cells, cloth fibers, and mold are just some of what's floating around. Portable air purifiers are supposed to help get rid of all of that. But can they also help keep the coronavirus out?
So the short answer is yes, they can get rid of the virus.
A purifier, though, cannot replace masks, hand washing, and physical distancing. Jeff Siegel is an expert on indoor air. He and his team at the University of Toronto tested 5 brands for us, 3 of the same model for each of them. All have HEPA filters. The tests will measure the clean air delivery rate, or CADR, of each device. Airflow and efficiency are key. We're not specifically testing for coronavirus particles here, but we are using incense smoke to see how the purifiers perform. The Dyson Pure Hot and Cool is the most expensive purifier we're testing. In the end, it was one of the worst in terms of performance in our test. Siegel says the magic number for cleaning a small to medium-sized room is 200 to 300 cubic meters per hour. The Dysons in our test had an average CADR of about 140 cubic meters per hour. So we took our results and our questions to Dyson headquarters in the UK.
We're packing a lot of technology into what is a relatively small footprint.
In this case, the company says a heater, fan, and air purifier. Why do you think people should spend $800 on a product when there are cheaper products that clean the air better on the market?
I think cleaning the air better needs a more holistic view rather than only looking at the CADR metric. Obviously, CADR is an important part of purification, but we need that product to sense, to capture and project.
But experts tell us CADR is the international industry standard and the most important metric.
Neil Coxall, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, you can find out how the other brands fared and what you can do for free to keep your indoor air clean tomorrow night on Marketplace, 8 p.m. on CBC Television, or you can stream it on CBC Gem.
Next, he's had a heck of a career, and it's not over yet. Tom Brady will aim for yet another Super Bowl win this Sunday, and that's not the only record he's going for.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner, we look at whether labeling the Proud Boys as terrorists means far-right violence is being taken seriously, and discuss the concerns about an expanding war on terror. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Toronto's The Weeknd has a big weekend ahead of him, headlining the Super Bowl halftime show. He promises the performance will be unlike any other.
I'm not going to tell you anything else because you'd have to watch on Sunday. But definitely we'll keep it PG for the families.
The Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Florida. It's the first time ever a team has had home field advantage for the big game. Now, in the midst of this pandemic, this Super Bowl is guaranteed, of course, to be different. But some things have just stayed consistent, like Tom Brady. This Sunday, he will be the oldest player ever to play in a Super Bowl, his 10th. Jamie Strachan looks at what sets Brady apart.
Brady goes for the deep shot. He's got a touchdown!
At 43 years of age, most professional athletes are long retired. Tom Brady is not only still playing, he's dominating. There have been a handful of 40-somethings still impactful later in their careers, but none was still on top of their sport. Even Brady is surprised by his longevity.
Not many people have played at my age. I think we're always supposed to be better as we grow and evolve and as we learn more.
He's already played in 9 Super Bowls, winning the NFL's biggest prize 6 times during an unprecedented 21-year career.
Yeah, I think we're all looking for that magic potion formula.
This orthopedic surgeon has worked with teams like the Toronto Argonauts.
While he's had some major injuries, none of them have really been ones that we classify as a career-ending injury, so he's had a bit of luck on his side.
But not everyone is a fan, and there's been plenty of fodder for those put off by his seemingly picture-perfect life, especially his 2014 suspension for deflating footballs, making them easier to throw.
He's just a wizard out there.
But for those who played the game, there is admiration and awe, including from this former CFL quarterback who stopped playing in his mid-30s.
It wasn't even a thought, really, when I was playing, that somebody would play that long. When I finished, I was hurting. I really was. I mean, my shoulder was banged up, and that's really what kind of caused me to retire in the end, is because I couldn't make all the throws that I was used to making.
Brady says Sunday won't be a last hurrah. This week, he said he's open to playing beyond the age of 45.
As long as I'm playing, I want to improve and get better, and I think next year is going to be a lot better than this year.
With Tom Brady, that's a bet many would be willing to make. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Okay, next on The National, a student project takes on a major Canadian moment. How one teenager became the driving force behind a symbolic repayment to Viola Desmond. In 1946, Viola Desmond was arrested and dragged out of a Nova Scotia theatre for refusing to leave a whites-only section. She was fined $26. And now, nearly 75 years later, an Ontario student wanted to do something about it. Varishini Diochand was 13 when she sent a letter to the Nova Scotia Premier saying she felt Desmond's fine should be repaid. 3 years later, the request was granted. And tonight, it's our moment.
I wrote that letter back in 2018, and it was really inspired by a grade 8 project that I did where we were required to research an iconic Black Canadian. Viola Desmond was charged $26 in 1946, and it is to my belief that one should not pay a fine for a crime they did not commit. That was repaid in the form of a check, and that is displayed in the Nova Scotia legislature, along with the Premier and my name as well.
You know, I'm almost speechless. It happened in 1946, and here we are, 2021, honoring her, and to return, to give her back the money. It's unbelievable almost. It's overwhelming to me, particularly the letter to the premier from Barashini. I'd like to meet her. She sounds like the future.
And what I love about the sounds of this is the spark of that relationship between Varishni and Wanda, because Varishni told our producer Eliza that she really likes Wanda and she really likes how inspirational Wanda is. And so it's the beginning of something.
Well, and I dare say she can look inward for inspiration too. I mean, just for her to think back to when she was 13 years old, what she's been able to accomplish in that short period of time, that's something. That's The National for this February 4th. Have a great night.